Brian Massie, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I take no joy in what I have to say, but my faith commands me to be kind, tolerant, and patient, but it doesn't tell me to be silent. I'm here today to express some real concern. Commissioner Troy, how long have you been a commissioner in Lake County?
I believe I started in January of 1999
And you've been in public, how long have you been in public service?
until the present.
You've been in public service for 30 something?
Am I going to be cross-examined here?
No, I guess
where are we going here?
I want to thank you for, first,
okay.
before I say something,
Okay.
I want to thank you for your service. And I honestly believe that you have done more good than harm. But sir, my concern is something has happened in the way that you're conducting or executing your role as commissioner. And I say this not as any smear, but I've done a lot of research, sir, and there's some problems. Would you acknowledge that I have tried to reach out to you with emails asking you for information on certain items?
And I have responded.
Not on all of the issues. The first issue is what I call the Riders Inn affair, where the Port Authority made reservations for their luncheons at the Riders Inn. The Riders Inn, using their freedom of expression, did have your opponent's campaign signs on their property, to which you objected, and your email to Mark Rantella of the Port Authority was very disconcerting to us as lobbyists for citizens. Would you like me to read it, for the record? Because
I don't know how appropriate this is for this portion of our meeting.
okay, then how about I did a research of all the campaign finance reports of all the commissioners. I posted them to our website, Lobbyists for Citizens.
Mine was short.
Well, Commissioner Hammercheck, I commend you for the investment, the personal investment that you made. And I was quite shocked when I saw it, that you would spend that much money. And I don't think that as any individual should have, put any financial strain, and I hope it is not a financial strain for you, but I commend you for doing that. I looked at Commissioner Troy's, and is this part of, may I speak about this?
Okay, just trying to make sure it all fits into the...
Okay, I wanted to, some people say I'm obsessed with numbers, but I wanted to answer the question of how much does it really cost to be a commissioner? What kind of numbers do you really need over the years to stay in position? And what I did was I pulled all the campaign finance reports for Commissioner Troy from 2005 through 2018 through post-primary. And I noticed that $650,000 in monetary contributions for that period of time, with another $37,000 in in-kind contributions. So it's just a little south of $700,000, and I was sort of interested, by that. But as I went through the further research, and I've got the details here that I'd be glad to provide the press. There was a hole in the 2012 year. Ending balance of one report should equal the beginning balance of the next. And there was a hole in 2012. I went back to the Board of Elections and I said, it's not adding up for me. I then was told that 2012 was the year that you were running for the state representative position. And I had to go online to get that information, and then I did. It still wasn't adding up to me because there was still a missing report that for some reason was not posted to the state website. And that was the permissive funds report. as I understand in my further research, I found that there is no Ohio Revised Code rule that says when a campaign goes from a commissioner or any other position and runs for the state representative, there is what they call a carry-in maximum, and that carry-in maximum is $35,000. That meant that you had to dispose of $42,000 by a certain period of time. I believe it was December 14th of 11. But that did not happen until I believe it was February of 12. By not disposing of those funds by a certain date, that precluded you from being able to be on the ballot for the state representative's position. The problem that I'm having is that when I went through to try to, what happened to the $42,000, I noticed that there was a nonprofit set up called the Lake County Governance Education Fund. I then did a timeline of events, what happened from setting up that fund, and then I noticed that your attorneys, your very high-profile attorneys in Columbus, they kept setting up, nonprofits and a for-profit. They change agents back and forth, which led me to ask the question: if you were to dispose of the money of the $42,000, why didn't you just write a check to the fund and be done with it, as opposed to the convoluted trail that I see, set up? I then tried to find out. There's got to be some track record of a trail of where was the money spent and how was it spent. I could not find that. I sent you an email and to Mr. Molnar asking what happened to the $42,000. And that's a problem. So that's a problem that I still, citizens of Lake County want to know where that $42,000 went. I've got more, but if I'm out of time.
No. We really are by custom have time limits, but I think I might be able to help you with that one. And at the risk of being accused of carrying your water here to help you out, Mr. Massie, I did see that email trail.
President, I hope that, whatever we're discussing here, we're talking about a 6.5-year-old transfer that was done totally within the confines of the Ohio Secretary of State's office, the IRS. Everything is totally in compliance.
That's my read.
The fund is there, and I'm
Well,
starting to wonder how much this has to do with the business of Lake County government.
I'm not
today.
making any accusations. I'm just saying that
Right.
I need to see the numbers.
What I would suggest though is go back and take a look. Thank you for including me in that email trail.
Mhm.
But I think if you take a look, you're going to find that the Lake County Governance Fund Incorporated, if you take a look at the registration number, what you're looking at is a statutory agent. I think that got confused. That didn't change its name, but what I'm based off of public record.
Mhm.
So the reason you're seeing a $0 amount, I'm assuming you're looking at the 1099-Ms.
Mhm.
I think you're looking at this Agent M LLC's 1099, not the Lake County Government's Education.
We'll-
Fund.
we'll-
You might want to go back and
We,
check that.
no,
So,
I'd like,
fairness.
totally fair.
Yep.
I
Yep. Mr. Chairman, let's cut to the chase here, and just, because, we know we're in the silly season, and I would hope that we could keep that stuff out of the commissioners' meetings. There are other forums for that. But when I did file for state representative, and nobody in the when you file for office, the Board of Elections gives you campaign finance information. Nobody in the Board of Elections informed me that there had been a recent change in the state law regarding a carryover of finances. When I found out that that was a new law that had been passed by legislature, and it only went one way. In other words, it was a law that said you can't bring a lot of outside money from another campaign account and run for the state legislature. They obviously did not cap anything saying you can take a lot of money from the state legislative seat and go run for another office somewhere else. So it was a little bit of self-protection in legislation. But obviously it was a law and I had to comply with it. The alternatives were to just give the money to the Ohio Elections Commission, or to Department of Charity. One of the things that I had talked about for some time with some people in this county, like Mr. Bill Hiller over at Manor Schools, was the real need for maybe a public policy institute in this county to kind of replace some of the civics education that maybe has been lost in their schools, and maybe work on explaining to people how government works, so educate them about government, and so that possibly we could make some progress in doing a better job at forming good public policy. So that was what I instructed the folks I would like to see those dollars go into. I am not part of that entity. I am not a principal of that entity. I do not make any decisions regarding that entity, and the money is still on account from the initial transfer minus some fees that had to be paid every year for filing and staying in compliance with the Ohio Secretary of State's office and the IRS. So and that's basically all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that explanation, and you know that I will research it and I will verify that.
Quick
We
question
don't.
though, if I may, was that the same year that we had a change in leadership at the Board of Elections, as far as the
Yeah.
information?
Yeah, at the time I filed down there, the director of the Board of Elections was Scott Dasher, and the deputy director was Betty Gunberg, because I think Jan Claire had retired in November of 2011.
Yeah,
So
that's
it was, and it was,
Better
I
check
was a
all the
little,
timeline.
I was a little miffed that I wasn't made aware of the information in terms of campaign finance, because I've always followed all the campaign finance laws regularly, so.
Commissioner Henry.
But I had to deal with the situation, and I did contact one of the better election law lawyers in the state of Ohio to straighten this all out, and that's what we did.
Thank you. Commissioner Havlicek, if this is not the proper forum, I will beg off on the other items that we have, and then I will go to the press. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.